to the Bombadcast.
Hey Jerry.
Hmm? Oh,
Have you?
yeah.
Hey Jerry, have you seen the movie The Last Jedi?
I think I threw that one on a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like it?
So you caught me in a. I was just kind of relaxing right here. Oh no, just kind of every now and then I like to go down to my little Sith grotto, take a little little bath in the nude grotto. Excuse me, I mean the Sith grotto. So yeah, you just caught me on the way back from that. So
on Unknown Planet.
yeah, believe it or not, it's actually Michigan.
Ooh. That's pretty. You're on Lake Michigan. Hey everyone, welcome this evening.
Hi, what's up, everybody?
Super excited, everyone in the chat right now. We got some great people. We got Taylor. We've got Survey Zaki Style. We've got Eric, Elliot, Claude. Zilla Ray is Bombad. Jake.
Zilla Ray.
Line. It's a good crew this evening. I am not my normal self because I've got what they call dry sockets.
You got a little bit of the dry socket. Somebody's got to wet that thing up for you. You know what? Oh, look at it. There it is. That is such a dry little bad socket. You know what? Oh my God. I know just the person who can take care of that, who can wet that dry socket right up for you.
Wait a minute. Do we? Are they on the stream with us?
They might be our special guest host for the Acolyte.
Look, so this is what the oral doctor said. He said, no sucking.
Plenty of fucking though.
Yeah, plenty of that. But you know what? I must have done some sucking, and this person did not fill my dry socket when they should have. The one, the only, Joseph Organa.
Hi, it's me. Oh my gosh. You guys know how much I love filling a dry socket.
It's your favorite pastime is what I hear.
I love lubricating a dry socket. What am I going to do? It's a favorite pastime.
Get all these dry sockets. They need, listen, you're just doing it's a service. It's a service
Joe,
at this point.
I want to see you flex with that shirt on. Let's
do that. Goddamn.
Hi. Look at the Joe Organa shirt, you guys. Joe Organa.
Oh my God.
It's me.
Oh, it's so beautiful. That's you. You're Joe Organa.
Damn. That was a good pose there at the end.
Thank you.
Is it take a lot to be Joe Organa?
It's a full-time job, you guys. I wake up every morning. I have to look in the mirror. I have to tell myself I'm prettier than everyone else. And then I have to believe it all day long. And that part's easy. But getting online and bullshitting all day, that's difficult.
That's the hard part.
The thumbs cramp.
Yeah, but you know what? There's perks to being that beautiful.
It is.
There really are. So, Joe knows this. Jerry knows this. Our other host knows this as well. I had to get my wisdom teeth taken out. I'm a little Judy Garland on some pain pills right now. So if I start slurring and saying things, just know that it's the narco.
we are here for you, buddy. We love you. Everyone give Scotty a hand in the chat for sticking this out.
Shout out to Judy Garland, by the way.
Shout out
our very own chat, you guys.
Our very own Judy Garland, one of my favorite people of all time. A special guest host of the Bombadcast this evening, talking episode 6 of the Acolyte. Oh, are you so excited, Joe? What's going on, Joe?
I'm nervous. I'm excited. I can't wait to find out who it is.
Oh, Joe has no idea.
I have no idea.
It's going to be it's crazy. So I can't wait. Joe can't read, for those that do not know. Joe is he can't read that well. He knows symbols. He knows that octagon shape is a stop sign.
He knows eggplant, right?
It's never come up. It's never been an issue.
He knows eggplant and the little water thing.
Joe actually writes like an ancient Egyptian, just in like all emojis and stuff like that.
Pictures. I like little pictures. I know what that means.
Yeah,
I know what that means. I graduated college with my master's degree in physics.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, I just was nice to the professors.
Oh. Yeah. Shit. Anyway, let's bring in the sex symbol of the Nerd Academy podcast. Truly one of the smartest men I know. both on and off the mic. Someone who's genuine, who's real, who is my trivia rival. Yeah, you can guess it, Joe. It's the one and only Jared, the Dark Jedi.
I decided to keep in theme with this episode this week.
Oh my God!
Here
we go.
We are barrel chesting it tonight. This Roosevelt is barely on. Because we are channeling the dark side seduction.
Yes.
Episode of the Acolyte.
Yes. Quicker, easier, more seductive.
And I am quick, easy, and seductive.
Yes.
Yeah. Emphasis on quick. Yeah. Here we go.
Look at this. Yes. Chat. This is real. This is real. This is real life. Hey, Jared. Glad to have you here. Do you keep track of how many times you've appeared on this show or no? Is there been a we're past 20?
I've lost count, but I do know just by sheer volume and vibes, I know I have to have the record.
You probably do.
Ooh.
If anyone has the 5-timers jacket of Bombadcast appearances, you definitely have at least 2.
I have it. I have probably 3 at least, and that's being very, very conservative.
It's very generous. Yeah.
Wow. You heard it here first. He is conservative. Wow. Hard hitting.
Joe.
Yes.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You and Jared have a storied history. We've heard you talk about Jared on Hot Knot or Scott. So
I'm interrupting you real quick. Hot Knot or Scott is one of the single funniest things you guys have ever done.
Best segment. So much fun.
Like it randomly popped back up in my YouTube feed out of nowhere, and I was like, "Oh, this was deeply funny." And I skimmed through it, and I was like, "This is fucking hilarious."
Yeah.
Well, we need a Hot Knot or Scott part 2.
We can do a Hot Knot or Scott with the Acolyte cast. And we know Chimera where he fits, but there's a reason I was getting into all that. And it was because Joe, being across from this beautiful Jared the Dark Jedi, are we feeling some Sith seduction when you look at this guy? What are we feeling, Joe?
Are you asking if I feel seduced to the dark side?
Just imagine there's like lightning crackling off of my fingers, like that one picture of Count Dooku.
I don't think anyone is under the impression that I'm coming from a light side place. You know what I mean? I feel like if anything, our 2 dark sides are converging, and now we need to kill one another.
Wow!
Both of us can't exist at the same time.
Ooh.
Joe, I would happily take you as my apprentice, and I really hope you don't have to force my hand.
Apprentice! I've been seducing people to the dark side using my sexuality, much like Chimera, for very many years.
I'm just violent and sexy when I do it, like Kylo Ren. Watch Ionized Bastards for proof of that.
Hey, hold on.
Yes.
Do I see a nipple, Jared? Let's look at that again. Go back up.
Want to see a nipple? You want to see nipple?
I saw another one.
There it is. There it is.
Nipple.
Family friendly.
That was an Opera Man joke for everybody at home. That was an Opera Man joke.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
So let's do a game real quick then. Chimera, shirtless in the Sith Lake and the Sith Pond, Hot Knot or Scott.
I'm gonna guess that water didn't look like a hot spring, so I'm guessing cold. I'm guessing those balls were up in his body, and that wiener was about a half an inch large at the moment.
I don't know.
His balls Demnick, if you will.
Yeah, it was in his body fighting for warmth. But if we want to,
he looks like a Ken doll for sure.
If we want to go with the narrative, it was hot because it was hot, sexy. It was intentional, and whenever someone's being hot and sexy intentionally, that's my shit.
Yeah, that was all on purpose. That was all very intentional.
Absolutely.
I agree.
He said,
and he's got like a little hot tub in his house too. Did anyone else notice that?
I called attention to that. I'm like, this little Sith bachelor pad with his fucking with like the fucking Darth jacuzzi over here.
Yeah,
Darth jacuzzi. Yeah, it's definitely a Darth flat. Absolutely.
I like to think that hot tub was full of Bacta, so it was like his Vader moment, but it's much sexier.
Oh,
it was a much sexier Bacta tank.
Question: does Tumblr still exist? I don't remember.
Yes, they cracked down on porn, but it does exist.
Okay, I was just curious if there was a Tumblr dedicated to this person yet. I imagine there is.
I'm about to start.
Probably.
God, man, what a wild scene. So we had been told we were going to get a nude scene in Star Wars, and is this the fulfillment of that nude scene? Right? Wasn't that something they said?
I think so.
I believe so.
I bet they shot cheeks and they cut it.
Wow, that's a good point.
The way it was shot, it like you really thought you were about to see cheeks, and it cut 100%. I was like, oh, I think they cut it out.
There was a brief moment. So, Miss Taylor has been showing me Bridgerton, and every time there's a sex scene or any male nudity, without fail, I start screaming hog, 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 hog. Yeah. And she's like, honey, this isn't HBO, it's Netflix. Like, they're fucking, but you're not going to see hog. Yeah. And I'm like, well, hog. And there was a brief moment. I had, like, here's my thing. Chimere is a very, very good looking guy. There's no question about that. The Stranger, very hot, very sexy villain.
Yeah.
I am still like I'm forcing myself to not embrace the sex appeal or the cool factor fully, because I'm still mad at this motherfucker for what he did on Kofar. Like, I have a lot of rage for the massacre on Kofar still, but I'm trying to keep it at bay. But I did very nearly go like hog whenever he was in the Sith grotto.
That's the water droplets off his face.
I just can't give him.
Oh man.
I don't even remember why we were mad at him. I feel like look at that man. I trust him. I think whatever he wants, he should have it. And if it's me, then so be it.
You know, if you're curious about why we're mad at him, I think you should ask the 18-year-old with 3 holes through her chest. Decomposing.
They were there when he got there. They were there when he got there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know her chest just did that.
See, they had to put a shot of the actual corpse, so everyone had to like a hard reset of, oh yeah, he's fucking evil.
How do we know she didn't want that in the first place? You know what I mean?
I mean,
we don't know. She was very excited.
Watching that child come to grips with her own mortality in real time was pretty.
Ever since people have seen Manny's arms, they have been begging him to put 3 holes in their chest too.
Look. My theory was he overheard Jackie talking to Osha. She was real curious about that. He just wanted to teach her a little bit of a lesson. She was like, "Oh, you've experienced death. That's so cool." He's like, "Okay, girl, your turn."
Why did he get so attracted? Oh, dude, you can almost see Paul. Oh, right.
Wait,
go. Oh my God. Bombadcast.
We are skirting the edge of YouTube TOS right now.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We're riding the razor's edge, and I'm here for it.
It's fine. This was shown on Disney Plus. The show was right next to Cinderella's Last Dance.
That's true. That's true.
Always Sunny in Punisher Warzone.
Yeah. You can find lots of things on there these days. But listen, I will say, I giggled like an immature schoolboy whenever she grabbed the lightsaber and he started talking about how good it feels.
Oh my God!
Holding that in your hands.
Yeah, I bet it does.
Oh God!
I bet it does.
I'm immature. So
okay.
I mean, the subtext was clear. You're not wrong.
And I know Jerry
can like his dick.
Let me compose myself here.
Joe being a gay man and Jared being a bisexual man, and Jerry and I both being straight. Let's talk about something very important right here.
Yeah.
Were y'all as attracted to Ben Solo Kylo Ren whenever he was on screen shirtless? Or to me felt more like a comedy bit, but also the undertone of like, oh, they're showing their vulnerability to each other. This, however, felt like straight up, like this is more of a sex scene than the Andor sex scene. Like, and I mean that.
Yeah. Where someone just puts their pants on and just like implied that, they did it. Yeah, absolutely.
Where do y'all feel on that?
I'll go first if you want me to. Jared,
I would
listen.
love to
I have
hear.
a very boring answer, so you should go first.
Okay.
Buck's already sent enough in the chat. Oh my god.
Kymir, I was attracted to him when he was a bumbling idiot in episode 1.
Wow.
So it's the truth. And so he's only gotten progressively sexier as time has gone on. It's truly been like a romance novel. If you watch it back with a male gaze, it's been a romance novel because he just starts off this cute bumbling fool, and then all of a sudden I'm sexy and my arms are out and I'm a bad boy, and then oops, all my clothes fell off and I'm soaking wet, and
Joe organic coded.
It truly was a romance novel from the get-go, and I love him, and I think he is right, and that we should kill the Jedi. Oh, and Ben Solo. His shirtless scene was so jarring the first time I saw it because it felt
he's so
like
big.
He's so big. He's so wide, and
his shoulders stretch into both sides of the frame.
It came out of nowhere so unexpectedly in that movie. Like it was, you were not expecting to see titties. This one, like I was saying, it was warming you up for titties. That whole time, I was like, we're gonna see this man's titties. Because we had Yord the first episode who was shirtless, or first or second episode that was shirtless, and so they were like, "Oh, you're gonna see some male nipples," and I was like, "Let's go for it." And then we had this sexy little cutie, and he was edging us this whole time, and we finally got our release. And I think it was much sexier and intentional in this, whereas that one, I don't know. Was I attracted to him in the end? If I think about it, sure. Kylo Ren is, I don't know. He's kind of a daddy's boy. He killed his dad. That sounds like issues. I don't know. That sounds like a lot of work.
I'm only asking because, and not to be super hetero for a second, but I'm going to be like, let's be real. I'm going to be so honest here on this stream. Yeah. When I was 8, Slave Leia was like freaking awesome. Yeah. Like really, I'm just going to be real. I was like, what in the world is happening?
Scotty's
this is the greatest thing
hot
ever.
take. Carrie Fisher in a bikini was kind of hot.
Yeah,
okay. Here I am, 9 years old. Padme gets her, she gets a tube top all of a sudden in the middle of a fight scene. I'm 9 years old going, well, that's amazing. This is the greatest thing that's happened to me. So, I think now the queers have a time to shine in Star Wars, and I mean that wholeheartedly. Like, not even as a joke. Like the fact that you get the opportunity to like have Kymir like actually be a man whore. Like this is some Joe Organa fucking shit. Let's be real.
They made the show for me, and I'm sure of that. But you have to remember in the prequel trilogy, we also had Hayden Christensen shirtless and sweaty.
But like, look at this is a different level. Though.
This
is nuts. Like,
I would like to see.
It's a completely different context from even the like Leia in the Hutt Slayer bikini, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Like it's so much more.
The thing about Leia in the Hutt Slayer bikini was it was intended to be sexy for marketing purposes, but the scene itself wasn't sexy. You know what I mean? Whereas this scene was meant to be sexy for marketing purposes, but also it was meant to be sexy. It was meant to be seen for all of us viewers as like, oh, this is a hot moment. That's why this is probably one of the sexiest scenes outside of anything Padme was doing.
Dude, I don't know. This may be the sexiest scene in all of Star Wars now.
It truly is. It definitely is.
When Padme had the bustier and she was like, I just want to be friends, but my titties are out.
Yeah.
That was also that's also very sexy. But yeah, no, this is probably the sexiest scene in all of Star Wars,
I mean, this is a sexy scene.
She said, this bitch, she put on that outfit being like, I gotta break up with him tonight. We can't have sex, but I'm gonna put on a leather bustier. We can't have sex.
I have a TikTok to send to Joe later that I think I don't know if you've seen it or not, but
that's exactly what I would do. That's exactly what I would do too.
Like I said, I have a much more boring answer. When The Last Jedi came out and most of the sequel trilogy, I hadn't quite parsed out that I was even bi yet. So even before then, even when I thought like, oh, like most guys think other guys are hot platonically. I very much. I've never been somebody who like got horny for celebrities very often.
Mm-hmm.
That is not a phenomena that has ever really happened with me. Like there are a handful of celebrities and I'm like, God damn. But
Yeah,
like it's never been something that I have like a moment of holy shit with. And that kind of rang true for this episode. You know, I was so drawn in by how good Chimere the Stranger, whatever you want to call him, at how good he is at marketing the Sith code. That I was so like I like that was where my focus was, because I was fully like enveloped in the, you know, seduction in the traditional sexual, you know, like steamy way, in the way that was so much subtext and, you know, kind of a kind of set dressing for the philosophical, for the emotional seduction to the dark side at play, that like I was. And again, you know, Taylor and I are watching the episode together and she's like pausing it every like 3 minutes to tell me how hot she thinks Chimere is. And I'm like, and I was like, oh, like, and I'm like, I can't get over what he fucking did. Like, I'm looking at this man. I know like this is a hot piece of ass. Okay. Like I am fully aware of this.
Yeah.
I can't let that shit go. And I think my biggest, and Boop just made the joke, like Jared is horny for canon lore. I'm not kidding. I realized today, thinking about the episode, knowing I'd be talking about it with you guys, I kind of had a moment where I realized I had my own like evolution as a fan, where know, like, as with Kylo Ren, when he's spitting the game, he's spitting at Rey. Like, I know, like, as a fan, as somebody who like loves to like study the philosophy and all of the themes and everything, that I'm like, I know he's wrong, but like, I can't say I wouldn't make the same decisions Kylo Ren made when I saw those movies for the first time.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I understand how we got here. I don't know it, that I wouldn't have made the same choices. Today, watching The Acolyte in 2024, I'm having this moment where I'm like, you're a fucking snake oil salesman. Yeah. Where like, that was like I loved the undercurrent. What's up, Bloom? Number one, Nine Eyes Bastard Stan. What's up? Well, like it's 1A and 1B. It's Taylor and Bloom. Those are the top two. Are 1A and 1B fans, but no, I found myself like, God, like you're really good at this. And you might have been able to sway me a couple years ago. But I'm so stuck on, I know what you did. I can't let go of that. Mm-hmm. You know, like there's just something that I can't forgive. Not something that I can't quite put my finger on, but there's something about what he did that I just can't entertain.
Yeah.
The pitch. It's an amazing pitch for the dark side. It's an amazing pitch for the Sith code. But I can't quite let my guard down for it. I can't quite get there.
So let's look at that, okay? Because the whole episode hinted on the idea on a very deep level that the Sith are being oppressed and the Jedi are the ones oppressing them. They cannot act the way they want to act because of the Jedi being there. So he's justified in killing the Jedi by doing that, to his perspective. And what makes a great villain is when a villain is fully convinced that they're right. We all know that. But what makes Chimere such an interesting case is that he is obviously a fallen Jedi, which is some news that we got that I was not expecting. I thought he would have been some sort of, you know, trained in the dark arts, but apparently he is a fallen Jedi, quote, from a long time ago. Okay. So let's take a second and look at that. We know that May, obviously part of the Coven, must have made a choice, which we'll get next episode, more than likely, to then link up with Chimere, or Chimere found her, because that witch Coven, I believe, not inherently bad dark side, but there was some dark side shit going on. There has to be. what the point I was getting at is we cannot trust this character, Joe. I know he's so handsome. But like that's the point.
Okay.
Like that's the point of this is that regardless of what he may look like, he says what he may look like even, but like what he's saying is fundamentally against the Jedi, and poor Osha is like really struggling, really struggling to figure out who she is in this moment. I don't know if anyone could speak to that, but it's a very interesting idea because he is bad.
Yeah.
And he's manipulating her because he's like, oh, Yord, he was the first one to arrest you. But Yord is also the first person that ratted, that it said, oh no, it wasn't her that killed Torben. And Jecki, like everything with Jecki, like Jecki wanted to have a friend and maybe even a lover. I don't know. We can't tell. We don't know the intentions there. But I mean, Chimera ripped a lot of stuff from Osha. Just ruined everything for Osha as well.
To speak on what you were saying, the thing that makes Chimera such a great spokesperson for the dark side, for the Sith, is that he is lampshading all of the horrific implications of the Sith ideology with very deceptively with a lot of Jedi coded speech, where he is doing this very interesting verbal sleight of hand, where it is this person who lives by the mantra of peace is a lie, that it's all about power and domination and forcing your will on nature itself, that he is able to do, like you were saying, like, well, yeah, but Yord was so quick to want to arrest you for a crime you didn't commit. And it's like, okay, let's push the blame. Let's do this Gish Gallop where, okay, but the Jedi are to blame for wanting to arrest you. Not me for sending May on this warpath. Not May for taking the lives of Jedi Masters in broad fucking daylight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's nothing to do with me. It is the Jedi who brought this on themselves. I want to be free. I want to be free to do whatever I want. Sure, that's all well and good. Your ideology is one that inherently brings out a desire to dominate the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
That is why the Sith needed to be eradicated. And it is that institutional decay that is so important to the fall of the prequel era Jedi, because you have these wayward apprentices, these wayward Jedi, your Anakins, your Dooku's, your character from the Clone Wars that I'm not going to name specifically because Taylor is watching and we haven't gotten to that arc yet, but you know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Who all become disillusioned with the Order, who all fall out of the honeymoon phase of what the Jedi are meant to represent. Fabin's a great example of that. That's something I baked into Fabin's character, is this idea that when he is brought into the Bastards, when he's brought into the Inquisitorius, that Fabin adopted this weird, almost victim blaming mentality, that because the Jedi allowed the Empire to be created, the Jedi deserve what's coming to them because it's the Jedi's fault, and it's an extension of his own blaming himself, his fault and the Jedi Order's fault at large, that the man he loved was murdered. And you can again extrapolate that onto Anakin. You'd extrapolate that on the Duke. You'd extrapolate that on the Ben Solo. That you have these people that the system failed, and it leaves them so vulnerable to have these very quick and easy answers doled out to them. The Jedi hate the idea that the Force can be used freely. The Jedi insist that they are themselves the only arbiters of the Force, that you can do this sleight of hand because they have such a well-defined code, and that the Sith like to believe theirs is all loosey-goosey and groovy over here, that no, it is just as rigid, if not more so, because it requires you to give so much more of yourself to it in this weird self-serving way. That again,
it's more likely to throw you away in the end when it's done with you too.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's a great way to have to shirk responsibility. It's Anakin, you turned her against me. No, you just got off of a brisk shift of mass murder.
Yeah.
You got the ball rolling on a genocide. You did that yourself. You know? So like it's in it, and again, and it goes hand in hand. Again, sexy man, very, very, very sexy man. Very sexy man. It goes hand in hand with the way that he makes himself so fucking vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
It is like, you know, it is him being just standing in front of her, literally naked with his lightsaber in her hands.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, take your shot. He gets out, he puts his clothes on. There's no armor, there's no tactical anything. It's his fucking pajamas. Take your shot.
He doesn't even put anything black on even. It's like a white robe too.
Which again, and it's more of that I'm going to prey on your understanding of what the Jedi represent to bring out of you this darkness. And it's very interesting that, again, if you look at May and you look at the way that she has handled herself in her pursuit on these Jedi, you know, so much of what she does relies on what she knows is good about the Jedi Order. So much of it is her knowing that the best way to kill Indara is to threaten the life of a civilian. She knows that Indara is going to give her life to save this random bartender. She knows that because of what the Jedi are taught their entire lives, that Torben will be willing to take his own life at her behest out of sheer guilt, knowing that it's the only way for them to be square at the end of the day. And it's why she knows that had the stranger not arrived in quotes on Kofar at the 11th hour to assassinate Kelnaka and massacre all these Jedi, that she could have safely walked out with her hands up, knives on the ground, and go, hey, sorry, I surrender. I'm going to tell you everything. I'm going to tell you everything because all that matters is Osha. You know, so she is at every step of the way been manipulating the Jedi's own philosophy to redirect back onto them as a weapon. And you can see the way that Kymir is interacting with Osha, that is a skill he taught her.
Yeah.
To weaponize the Jedi ideology, to talk all this shit about them and everything they represent, but to take ownership of it as a weapon against them, which, you know, it's one of the core things of fascism. Your enemy has to be incompetent, stupid, lazy, pathetic, while also being just a world-ending threat all at the same time. Those two things can't coexist, but it's great to make you want to kill him. And yeah,
that's beautifully said.
I went on for
no, because we've never had this with an attractive Sith, and I'm not joking when I say this. The most we ever got from Ben Solo is, you know, join me, please. Like that's it. Whereas Vader, masked, Palpatine, grotesque, you know, Maul, the devil, you know, like there's, and Anakin maybe is the only one, but Anakin's just mad, you know,
yeah.
Turn her against me. Like Anakin's just mad. Kymir is literally seducing Osha here. And I don't know. And the episode, of course, is titled two different things. It's teach and corrupt. And who's doing what? You know what I mean? We know that Soul's got some serious skeletons in the closet, man. He's got there is some dark shit that we're gonna find out next episode, just based on how he responded to everything and, you know, the horrible tragedy that took place in Kofar. I don't know. I don't know if you want to keep gushing on the Kymir stuff, but I do love, I didn't say this, I do love that Osha's outfit was so similar to Rey's outfit.
Yeah.
It's almost a 1-to-1.
The TLJ stuff was actually insane. And like, we're 7 years away from that movie now. I don't know if y'all thought about that, but we're 7 years away. Isn't that insane?
I'm sorry, I keep accidentally cutting you off, Scott.
No, it's okay.
You're feeding me so well. Like, there's the thing that is so great about all of the Last Jedi inversions is that, again, in the same way that this show is so excited to put the Jedi on trial from multiple angles, that it is giving the Sith their time to try to break the Jedi down, and it's also letting the Jedi break themselves down. It's putting them on trial as from the perspective of the Coven on Brendok, but like so much of that is reflected in The Last Jedi, where you're getting Luke's refutation of the Jedi, and then again it is that inversion of, hey, you know, it's an inversion philosophically, but it's also a reversal where it is the untrained pupil is very, 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 very skeptical of everything this guy has to say. And the mentor figure in this situation is so excited to give you just every single brochure about the Sith code that he can possibly hand out. That it is that devotion mixed with that skepticism that is so well reflected in it feeling like Octo, in it feeling like this bastardized version of this haven of the Jedi, the birthplace of the Order, juxtaposed with, look at me, and I'm this Sith Lord living in nature. I bet they told you us dirty little Sith Lords don't do things like this.
Yep.
Like, again, everything about what he is doing has all of the set dressing of what a Jedi Master would be doing, with all of the philosophy, with this lipstick on a pig of what the Sith philosophy is. Like, you can pitch it as freedom and liberation as much as you want, and you can try to distract from the body count on Kofar as much as you want. All of those things are still true,
God, very well said. Jerry, did you want to add anything to that before we move on to the next big thread of the episode?
I mean, no, listen. We've talked about Chimere being hot. We've talked about how it's the actual seduction of the dark side that Yoda talks about all those years ago. So I say we move on. Let's talk about some more little nooks and crannies this episode brought to us.
We know that the next there's like 3 storylines. Obviously, the Chimere and Osha one being the main one, and we'll talk about the ending too. But the B storyline, which I like a lot, was May and Soul. Not as compelling. I felt like dragged a little bit, if I'm going to be honest with you. It had a lot to compete with. You know what I mean? Like that Chimere shit was so good. But it still had its moments. Was anyone sad when they had to reset?
Pip. That's the thing that got me the most upset in the episode.
I may or may not have screamed, "She fucking killed him!"
Everyone was like all like caught up in the "oh no, Chimere's so hot" that we forgot that Pip just got the fucking safety pin in like the little tiny hole and everything until like he beeped and turned around and now he's evil. And he's just evil Pip because he's got red eyes. That was fucking awful. So anyway, although part of me thinks she didn't have the body, Osha still has the body. So I believe that when they come at the end, my theory is gonna put the head back on the right body, and he'll be Pip again. But Osha may not be the good Osha that we know.
So that's the thing, right?
I don't think she's going to get pilled. I think she's going to resist. I have all the faith in the world on Osha.
I just think May was so quick to try to like counter anything Soul did that May is a pretty terrible bad guy besides killing Andara. Like, May is just not a convincing villain, and I think that's the point. Honestly, I think that's the point now.
Yeah,
but
she's not fully committed. She doesn't have her heart in it. She just it's again what it seems like is she just wants her sister, and that's it.
She can't even do that right. You know what I mean?
No, that's the thing, is she is so erratic. There is again, to echo another Star Wars thing, is this show lives in its poetry. It rhymes. That Sidious's whole thing with Dooku was like, you're just here to get the job done until I can turn Skywalker.
That's true.
And the moment Chimere met Osha, he was like, oh yeah, it's you. It's game time. In the same way that Sidious to Grievous is like, well, what about the death of Count Dooku? It's an acceptable loss. I'll have a new apprentice, one far younger and more powerful. It's like it's that mentality with Chimere where it's like, I never trained you to be able to do this shit for real. And that's the thing, is like she's so driven by this need for revenge and this attachment that like she couldn't even tell that Chimere was explaining, you do know killing a Jedi without a weapon is a metaphor, right? Like he's trying to be like, you do know me. I mean, the other guy wasn't being literal about having to kill a Jedi without a weapon, right? It is very fascinating, and I love May's characterization because like it's all proof in the pudding. Like you're not supposed to be this. You're meant for so much more. Your potential is wasted here.
Yeah. I just think it's a fascinating way to look at a character from the idea of twins, because Luke and Leia, twins, but like they're not cut from the same cloth. Whereas May and Osha are cut from the same. They were the same upbringing. You know what I mean? It's always been in hiding, or twins are separated. And I know they have that terrible Visions episode that Eli likes so much about twins. But this,
hey, one nice thing about the twins, it has a bitchin' Roosevelt.
Oh my God, it does have a good Roosevelt. It does. I'll admit that. So, if we're gonna take a second and look at the Soul storyline, every time he goes to like, all right, here's what happened, shit goes wrong. I am so tired of that trope, but I am very much looking forward to next Tuesday, whenever we actually see how it plays out. Do we think at the end of it, Soul is not a good person? Do we think like it's like
the more that he goes to tell someone and something goes wrong and he can't, the more I'm like, this is not good.
Yeah.
Like whatever he has to say is not on the level, as they say. So, and a lot of people are like, oh well, and I want to believe in Soul, and I don't think he did anything necessarily maliciously.
Yeah.
But I think that it is darker than we first thought. I think he has more fault in it than we may have been led to believe at the beginning.
Okay. What are you thinking?
Because I haven't
heard Joe's thought.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. The thing is, I keep thinking that May's gonna turn to the light side because of what Soul explains to her. And then Osha's going to go to the dark side, at least for a little while, because Chimera is very sexy. So I'm not sure. I still feel like we're not going to get a final resolution this season, because we are getting a second season. So I think we're going to be left on some cliffhangers, and we're going to be left with a lot of questions. I don't necessarily know if Soul... I don't know if he's going to tell her the truth. The thing is, at the end of the episode, he runs away from Vernestra, and Vernestra is very quick to say, oh, well, maybe Soul did do this. Like, she said, no, don't imply that, but, like, we're led to believe, like, oh, she kind of is like, maybe. So there's something that we don't know about Soul that maybe is in his nature. And we saw him get upset on the Jedi ship when he, like, looked around to make sure no one was around them. Goddamn, like me when I'm in traffic. Like he had that, and Jedi is supposed to be above that, babe. So I don't know. There's definitely something more to Soul that we don't know.
I just think it's interesting because the way they're framing it, I really don't think Soul is the baddie in all of it. I think what the other Jedi did are much worse, but Soul has to take the blame for it because Indara's dead. Torben killed himself, and Kelnaka also died, but he died in seclusion. So I think Soul is just going to have to take the blame for everyone's mistakes and not so much be the reason shit went down. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and I mean, as we see with everything going on with Vernestra as well, it's looking like Soul has just made himself, like the top suspect in the death of all the Jedi. And so that might end up being just he might end up being the fall guy for all of this. I don't think anyone really thought that we'd have a happy ending for these characters. I don't know. Like if you see all the stickers and stuff and tissues flying around out there on the internet, you might think otherwise, but, I don't think there's going to be really a happy ending for many people because, again, this is a show about the Sith. It's about what they're up to at this time. And, I think it's going to be a good ending for them, but not a happy one. So.
Yeah.
I think I'm on a similar wavelength as Scotty. I think I'm between two outcomes for Soul, or maybe not outcomes, but like the truth of Soul is one of two things. I think either Soul was the only adult in the room when all hell broke loose, and went, while the witches and the Jedi are having a lightsaber measuring contest, he was the only one who went, "Oh my god, shit's exploding. Where are these children?"
Mm-hmm.
And that while his back was turned, a massacre happens while he's trying to rescue the twins, fails to save one of them, and he was only able to get one out. And the guilt of nobody in the room did the right thing, and that he recognizes that he put himself in an impossible situation by appointing himself the only person who could do the right thing, that he missed out on doing the other right thing. And that's where so much of that guilt comes from, that he couldn't stop it. I think the other angle is that he personally is responsible for the death of Mother Anastasia. I think that in a room full of corpses that do not look burnt.
So that's what I was going to bring up. We're going to watch. We don't have to watch the full scene, but like we know May does start the fire. Like we see that, and I'm not gonna hold on. I'm gonna play. I'm not gonna play with sound just for the sake of copyright.
May
but like
went to start the fire.
Yeah, see, like you see it play out.
It's an awful joke. Shame on anybody who laughed at that.
But like,
Jerry.
Obviously, Osha gets out of there, and then Ezra gets super like hazy. And Ezra next week we get, I'd imagine, a lot more payoff.
Yeah, I think the other, like I said, like the thing that
right here, by the way, explosion.
Yeah, explosion, screaming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then whatever happens. I think the thing that like has me like considering that he personally killed Mother Anastasia is that, like, again, obviously, like the fortress is being engulfed in flames. To all of the people who have in bad faith been like, oh, like why is this stone burning? To first time tonight, folks, to quote Alex Jones, stone buildings burn to the fucking ground. There's very funny context that happened on Knowledge Fight the week this episode came out. But all of that to say, like, you know, he's trying to rescue her, but there is there's an urgency he has that's very specific to when he's like, come on, when she's like trying to rouse Mother Anastasia's body. And I do sincerely think that on some level that is him like, come on, I really don't want to look at this. Because again, what I think happens is that there is going to be a moment where I think there's going to be a moment where either the Jedi or the witches, where somebody draws their weapon first, and everybody else is like, okay, we're rumbling, right? And I think that in that first moment, Mother Anastasia is killed. I'm stuck between Sol and Torben being the ones to cut her down.
Yeah,
because I think if Torben does it, Mother Coral takes out that fucking staff. And that's why Torben looks like that. Because I don't think you can get hit with that thing and it not fuck you up for life.
Yeah.
I don't think you take a licking from that thing and not look like Torben. But I also think that Sol maybe does it. All the fighting breaks out. Kaboom. Oh shit, there are children. And while the bloodbath ensues, again, like it's basically the same theory, but maybe Sol also actively took a life, I guess. And I'm rambling, and I'm sorry, just because the juice is flowing. But
we speculated on this a lot when this episode aired, and Joe and everyone had their own thoughts. Now we're 3 episodes beyond that, and so much shit has went down. To see it now in a different context and see how guilty Sol looks, though he did save Osha. Like, look, these witches are not they're not burning. They have not been caught on fire.
Yeah. I've seen, I think it was Regaba on Twitter posited the idea that the Bunta may have been like also like in the air, and it got turned into like some of the smoke. So maybe a lot of them are dropping dead from a poison. Maybe they've all been killed with a lightsaber. Maybe the shockwave from that explosion was so great that it just pancaked them. Like there's a number of things that could have happened, but like I do think the most likely is that we are looking at a lot of people who died by lightsaber.
Jared, do you watch previews and stuff? Do you like absorb that kind of thing? Just because I know how
cross my mind sometimes, but they cross my feed, but I avoid them as best I can.
Because we know how Torben's face got like that. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, it's the Kalnaka.
Yeah.
Well, I know
we
the
see
shot
him
of Kalnaka
coming down at him.
I saw a scene of him attacking his face.
Okay, see.
Oh, so Torben gets cold cocked by Kalnaka.
Yeah. I wonder
which will also fuck you up if you get cold cocked by a Wookiee.
I'm wondering if because the witches they in an earlier episode, Osha makes a point to say, "Oh, that's something my mother could do." Speaking about when the Chimere got into the Jedi's mind and took over. So I'm thinking maybe the witches took over Kalnaka and he attacked Torben in self-defense, perhaps. That's my guess.
God, I don't know. It's
So
just such a good mystery.
So
obviously we've dissected both storylines.
Yeah.
There's a C storyline that we have not had yet to dissect, and that's for Nestor Row.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Oh my God. What do we really think is going on there?
Do we think Vernestra was Chimere's master? Is that what we're asking?
I think
no.
I'm between. Okay, I'm in two camps. I'm sorry. I won't shut up. I'm so sorry.
No, get it out.
So I am of two minds with the Chimere master situation. I tweeted about this earlier. I think because again, they have been very deliberate. Like it's that very like Knives Out. Like every line of dialogue matters. You know, thing where like in the same episode that we see Vernestra use a very exotic, like kyber weapon. That moves in a very unnatural way, as opposed to like a sword, like the beam of a lightsaber blade. That we also see this very jagged scar on Chimere's back. So I would not be surprised if again, they cast me out, they threw me away. Is I lost fucking control in the field, and my master went, "Oh, you're a sociopath. Innocent lives are on the line. You are a rabid dog, and I am Atticus Finch. You have forced my hand, and I need to put you down." And homie got mauled with the light whip, unfortunately. So I think that's a very big potentiality. I think that I do think Vernestra was his Jedi master. I think that either the wound itself is from the light whip, or he may have been scorched by force lightning. I think that's also an option. Just because, and this is a very nitpick thing. Like most of my issues about this show come from me just like being greedy. You know, like for example, I hate to say it, I think a lot of the lightsaber designs are fucking boring. They look like Jedi Academy, like stock weapons, like the video game from the 2000s, Jedi Academy. That it's just all a bunch of uninteresting lightsaber hilt designs, which I think does a disservice to how rich a lot of these characters are. But the other thing is what can anybody tell me the last time we saw Force lightning used on screen?
God, was it Revenge of the Sith?
That would be 2019's The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Like it has been this long, maybe in Visions, I don't know, but like we have not seen like Force lightning in a long time, and it feels weird, especially in a story about the Sith. And you know, there's a part of me that's like, that is going to be that final distinction between the stranger and the actual reigning Sith master. Be it a new character, be it Tenebrous or Plagueis. Whoever it is, that is the difference between this little like punk Sith, not punk as in like he's a punk bitch, but like punk as in like, oh, I'm doing my own thing, like faux punk.
Yeah.
And like, I am the reigning Sith master, the one to embody the power. You are a rabid dog. You're going to get us revealed to the Jedi because you're out of control. And he just got a good bolt in the back. That's where I think some of that may or may not have happened. That's where I'm honing in on. I think Vernestra was his master. Maybe it was the wound. Maybe it was his Sith master that mutilated him with lightning.
God, it's just
Force lightning.
Well, no, it's interesting what she says here because it's very Sith to tip the scales.
Yeah.
And like you said, his skills are erratic. And like, look at her face right here. I do not think she is a Sith or a villain, but I think she is going to do her best to protect herself.
Yeah. I think she's going to do her best to protect herself and the reputation of the Jedi Order.
Yep.
You know, I think that's a very, very big thing here. You know, again, it's that institutional decay. It is the reality that Vernestra might be putting a bigger capital on protecting the Jedi's image than stopping what I think she might be starting to think about the S word.
Yeah.
I think this is the moment she starts to think about it. You know, Scotty, you and I talked about this last night right after the episode. But, you know, it was another throwback to the Plagueis novel, where one of my favorite moments in that book is when an assassination attempt is made on Darth Plagueis in his day job as Higo Damask, and he like has to tap into his power in the Force for the first time in a really real way in combat, and you know, using telekinesis mutilates these bodies. Like Force pushes somebody in the same way of what would happen if Superman just punched you in the jaw. And whenever, you know, the police arrive at the crime scene, they are very much like, oh, well, this body, they were killed by an explosive. That they're because they look at the scene and go, oh,
there's no way.
There is no other logical explanation that these guys were basically sitting on top of a thermal detonator, and that is why they are all over the room and in a puddle, right? And that Vernestra and Jedi Master Scrimshaw have the same reaction to this blast radius, that they're like, oh, that was an explosive.
God.
You know, that it's that same level of like, yeah, we're not going to acknowledge the other option here. Granted, those cops and Plagueis, they have no way of knowing, but like these guys, that should cross their mind. This should cross their mind. And, you know, I think that one of the key themes of this show has been, do not trust your eyes, they can deceive you. And that Vernestra is, and what May says in this episode with the, you know, people see what they want to see, that yes, something horrible happened here, and it's an easier sell to say we had a Jedi go rogue and then we found him and we put him down or we locked him up than it is to say the Sith are back. They're alive.
Yep.
You know, that like Vernestra might be way more okay with pinning this on Soul, especially with the context of he's hiding something. And this is something I entertained last night on my live stream, that what might be the most heartbreaking ending here is that Soul, because he is so guilt-ridden and wants to make amends for what has happened, that Soul might accept the blame for what happened on Kofar.
Oh, God bless. For the sake of keeping the peace.
Well, not quite. So the part of it's like, okay, like I deserve punishment. I've evaded punishment for the better part of 2 decades. It's time for me to go. Wow. And recognizes that he has an option, that he can serve Osha and May, who he owes big time, and take the fall for this.
Yeah.
And not make their lives worse and envelop them in this huge, you know, uproar in the Return of the Sith.
Yeah.
Or he can yet again shirk the responsibility of what happened on Brendok and go, the Sith are back, so can you really worry about me right now?
Damn.
That like to do that, like that there is no version of a choice he can make that isn't inherently selfish in some way. That he is either a key player in trying to stop the Return of the Sith, or he has to let the Sith return to make this right, and to understand that the strange, you know, say Chimere dies. Okay, we did it, guys. We killed the Sith, and you can arrest me because I'm responsible for what happened on Kofar, and I let Brendok get out of control, and I'm the reason why their mother and their whole family is dead. That he falls on that sword. He lets himself get nailed to that cross. And the path to hell is paved with good intentions because he left the door wide open for the next guy and the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. And oops, all the Jedi are fucking dead.
Yep. God bless. I like that analysis a lot, and this show does hinder on the promise of fulfilling a very intense line of stories. I mean, like, you've got past to pay off, you've got current to pay off, and you've got future to pay off. I mean, there's lines in the prequels that cannot be negated, and if obviously those things will not be, we're not that kind of group of speakers that are going to be like, oh, they already ruined Ki-Adi-Mundi's line. That's the whole point of Ki-Adi-Mundi as a character. So that's for other dissection later.
I also don't think the whole, again, not to go back to Ki-Adi-Mundi and beat the dead horse with a stick, but I think that it might all be very intentional that he was put there. We keep seeing these scenes with Vernestra talking about how she needs to hide this information from the Senate. They keep showing us scenes of Vernestra Rowe with the Senate talking to Senator. She is going to keep this as tightly wrapped as possible. As far as Ki-Adi-Mundi knows, they haven't seen a Sith because she's going to keep this under a rug for the next 100 years. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it was a cover-up 100%.
Yeah.
I think that it's the hubris of the Jedi. It is that confidence in going, yeah, we handled it, and we're all going to say none of this happened,
Right.
For all the people who say, oh, they broke the lore. No, they didn't break the lore. Like, the Jedi swept it under the rug. Like,
this
it
is how the Sith
ignorance.
infiltrate. Yeah.
It adds to the lore, if anything. Absolutely.
Yeah. They'll be looking at a dead Sith Lord lying on the ground and go, okay, this issue's handled.
Yeah.
Don't trust your eyes. They can deceive you. There is one dead Sith Lord in front of you. There is at least one more out there.
God, it's great. I'm glad we could talk about this tonight, gentlemen. This has been wonderful.
Same.
We also have a new Bombad cast fan in here. Welcome,
Yes,
Jin 511. Glad to have you join.
Welcome.
Because we do have wiki discussions about Star Wars. We got 2 more weeks of the Acolyte, unfortunately, and then we're going to be going back to our regularly scheduled Bombad fun. Joe's obviously always welcome to join us, but Jared was our guest this evening as well. Jared, can you do some plugs before we get out of here? Because my mouth is hurting.
Yes, of course. I apologize for hogging the mic tonight if I did it all.
Beautiful.
It's all good. It's all good.
I get revved up, especially on Bombad. You guys can find my show, the Nerd Academy Podcast, on YouTube and wherever you get podcasts. We're also doing weekly reviews of The Acolyte right now. We're going to be talking about The Boys on the main show when I'm able to do that. When I have the time for that. This season of The Boys is so fucking good, guys. And I finally boys pilled Jerry, which makes me so happy.
Yeah, I'm one of the boys now. I'm one of the boys. So maybe you'll see me on one of those chats soon. Pretty soon. We'll see. We'll have to see.
Nice.
It's gonna be fucking
We'll see.
diabolical. Over at the Nerd Academy Podcast, doing my show over there. You can also find me on the Mitch692 YouTube channel doing a new show called Pro and Noob, where Mitch from the Comic Book Cast is taking me through every episode of Neon Genesis Evangelion, which has been a lot of fun. And then, as Scotty pulled up, there is Ionized Bastards, the Star Wars RPG show I do on the All Remaining Systems YouTube channel. The penultimate episode to season 2 is out. God, Scotty, don't play that song right now. I am not in the mental space to hear that song.
Yeah.
Every time I
Jared
hear that
will lose
song,
it.
terrible. Every time I hear that song, somebody dies. But you can go watch that. The penultimate episode of season 2 is out now, and hopefully on Monday we'll be recording the season finale for the second season, and then we'll be going right into season 3, which is going to be the last season of Ionized Bastards. So going out on a high note, I'm sure it's not going to be emotionally damaging to any of us permanently in any way, shape, or form. I play Fabian Martel in ex-Inquisitor turned prize fighter turned accidental kind of like mercenary for the New Republic. Alden Diaz from Octo Radio and Anytime with Ken and Alden plays Thalbor Sheems, a character who answers the question, what if Saul Goodman was an Ithorian? Our very lovely Jerry plays 4044, a cuddly assassin droid. And Dan Miller plays Zuzo Yort, a kleptomaniac cyborg Gungan. Which just all of the hilarious things you think come with like vagrant cyborg Gungan happen with him. It's a lot of fun. It is the project I am the most proud of and have the most fun making. So go check that out. And then obviously Epic Confrontations, the Star Wars Trivia League we've all participated in.
That's right. EC. Joe, what can you plug?
Listen, I'm gonna plug those dry sockets of yours, baby. Oh,
yes.
my merch. Yes, I have merch, and
Joe's merch.
Joe Organa merch. I'm wearing one of the t-shirts right now, and I'm doing a Speedo try-on and a crop top tutorial on Friday over my Twitch channel. I also stream on Twitch, so follow me on Twitch. It's just at Joe Organa. At Joe Organa on all social media. Follow me. That's it.
Look at that.
Go check it out, guys.
Yeah.
We all got shirts. I got a shirt. My wife got a shirt. Gary got a shirt.
Joe Organa.
Taylor telling me I'm her second favorite. Thank you, bestie. Thank you.
Oh man, yeah. Go tune into that. I want to see Joe put on some Speedos here. Look at this. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I have it right here.
He's gonna put on this. He's gonna put it on, man.
I am.
He's gonna put it on.
Show it real quick.
I'm gonna be wearing it on Friday when I do my crop top tutorial. Just show you guys how I make my crop tops with my merch.
There you go.
How amazing, Joe.
Yes,
Jared. So glad to have you here. I'm Sky Jero. I'm recovering. Next Thursday, I probably will not be in to do the Bombadcast, as I'll be seeing the Grateful Dead in the Sphere. If all these things heal up properly,
high as a kite. So, high as a kite. Hopefully,
I don't know about that. But
Scotty's gonna be popping perks in the Sphere.
No, I was right.
Scotty found the last bottle of Quaaludes.
That's it. Next week. But no, everyone get hyped. 2 more episodes of the Acolyte. Jerry, do you want to plug anything before we end this thing? You're more than welcome.
Jared gave a beautiful description of Ionized Bastards, so check it out there. I play the droid. But yeah, no, I can't believe we're almost at the end of the show. I can't believe that we only have 2 more left.
Play the droid caught me off guard. That was really funny.
I play the droid. What are you gonna say? But yeah, no, listen, I don't think any of us are ready for how this is going to end. And again, I hope that Scotty's dry sockets are soon filled with sweet moisture, so that he can feel better and eat a steak and not just mashed potatoes.
Oh my god, that's all I want. I've been eating pudding. I've been eating pudding and yogurt and bread dipped in chicken broth.
My man is the king of the snack pack right now.
I've lost like 10, 15 pounds, so that's something, right?
It's good for that.
Yeah. But anyway, Jared, since you are here, you get the honors to do our wonderful send-off as always. Thank you everyone for joining this evening. Can't thank you enough for the new followers that we made this evening alone. Especially Itchy Jin. I don't know. If you want to go back and watch
the weirdo stuff.
Yeah, go back and watch other streams, especially with Joe on it and Jared on it. Some of our best episodes. But what should the good people do, Jared?
Everybody at home should stay bombad.
I love it.
Did you say impossible, Pasquale? Only kidding, Jackie. I've changed my tune because I finally thought of a possible dream that we can all share.
What is it, Pasquale?
It's a dream about a world when nobody is poor or sick or hungry.
Oh, now that's a dream we can make come true.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right.
As I point up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind.
I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need? A sour's disregard, a broken bottle top,
and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and all
time for us to take a break. But we wouldn't dream of being gone for long. See you in a little bit.